Everyone, this is Marjabin Baloch from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So, this is a review or reaction sort of a video which was actually requested and recommended by a frequent commenter and viewer on my channel, and the movie is The Illusionist. I must say, and a disclaimer, I, along with my sister, both of us were not a fan of romantic movies, and yeah, and none of the actors in the movie were someone that I really like. Yeah. So my favorite actor between, just to mention, is Christian Bale, and Christian Bale is not just an actor, he is an academia of acting in himself, and I almost love all his movies. It's highly recommend. Each and every movie of Christian Bale is a masterpiece in itself, but my personal favorite is Equilibrium, which I will review some in few days. Equilibrium, highly recommended. Do watch it if you are a gun if you are a gun fan, or the fond of weaponry and stuff. There is a amazing use of weapons and stuff, and it's just I love the movie. I've watched it, I think, so many times that I can't even remember, but I love it, and each time I just can't stop admiring Christian Bale of his artistic abilities. Anyway, this movie was not the genre that I particularly like. Romance and drama, I think that category it falls into. But nevertheless, I liked the content of it. The movie was actually really, it was nice. I mean, to begin with, it was a very okay sort of a thing, it begins with a teenage love story of an aspiring magician, and then it just transforms into somebody, yeah, sort of thing. So there were few highlighting things which I would like to mention. And mind you, I'm not a professional movie critic or reviewer, but yes, I would kind of review this movie in my own style. So please forgive me if you don't like my, review or whatever, or analysis. So first and foremost, the very first point that I need to highlight in this movie was will be an advice. So I will begin with an advice to all the women who have teenage crushes and who grow up and end up engaged to men that they don't necessarily like that much. So first and foremost, ladies, this is how you do it. When you're engaged to somebody and then afterwards you find your teenage or your high school sweetheart comes back into your life, and there is a revival of that teenage romance. First and foremost, talk to your fiance and give him that big diamond ring. Decently explain to him your equation, at the teenage love story and the equation that you have with that sweetheart, the high school sweetheart, and then apologize and say, sweetie, I know we are, engaged and all that, engaged to be married and all that, but since you don't want me to cheat on you like that. So here's your ring, here are your all the gifts and whatever, and here are the favors. Let's equalize the favors that you have given me, and I'm sure you will find your soulmate or whatever. But I actually cannot get over my high school romance and my teenage crush. So let's call it over. And then you go to your, teenage crush, and then it's not like that you're already engaged. You have somebody's diamond ring in your ring finger, and then you're having sex with your teenage. No, don't do that. That's just plain unethical, and it's a bad thing. I mean, engagement is half of marriage, and you're engaged to someone and then you're having sex with your. No, no, don't do this. Woman or man, don't do this. First, finish up the relationship you already have, break up with your fiancé or your boyfriend, and then go back to the other crush or previous crush or current crush, whatever the equation is. Finish off your relationship and then start a new one. Cheaters are, don't do that. This is just so plain unethical. Secondly, Hollywood. You need to understand, when you put up movies like, those Disneyland Cinderella stories, poor peasant girl and a prince falling in love with this Cinderella, and then Cinderella all of a sudden just marries the prince and happily ever after. But on when you switch the table and there is this peasant boy and a rich girl, they always get separated, and the poor guy is just, oh my god. Don't do this. If you make a Cinderella story a success story, then also give the men poor men this opportunity to have a good fantasy life with the rich woman. If you want to have this class difference love story, then just don't do the gender biases. Poor men can also have very good life with rich women, or duchesses or whatever. So it was heartbreaking, the guy. But no, yeah. Thirdly, never ever take teenagers, never ever take teenage romances seriously. To that extent that you make a profession out of your tragic teenage love story, that's just ridiculous. It doesn't work that way. The guy just loses this girl and then he becomes this super duper amazing magician, fools the entire world, and the fiancé puts a bullet in his head. Come on. Who does that? And then never trust a Frenchie. Guy with a French beard, never trust it. Really, I actually felt really bad for this guy. What was his name? Is it Leopard? Crown Prince Leopard. I actually felt sad for him. Such nice mustache and very nice beard. Poor guy puts a bullet in his head and kills himself. Okay, domestic violence, I'm totally against domestic violence, and if he was violent to his ex-girlfriends and killed probably one or two, that is bad. He should have been behind bars for beating up his girlfriends or whatever. But I actually felt sad for the guy. Didn't even kill the woman, and he was saying all along that this guy is imposter, and he's like fooling with your mind and stuff. But nobody listens to him anyway. So I actually felt bad for that. Poor guy killed himself. So it's just not right. Yeah, It's just not right. But and I think as women we need to understand that we shouldn't put people, we shouldn't put uh, the other gender or our significant other under what you can say, or give them the impression of being insecure or feeling less important. Or I mean, it's like this made me actually realize that how difficult this is for men to have their confidence when we as women and we as significant others of some insecure men. Okay, some insecure. I mean, everybody's. I mean, I am insecure at times. So everybody is insecure at any given point of their life where they are put in a position that there is someone else competing. You know, competing in terms of impressing the the person, so if one feels that there is our significant other is being impressed by someone else, automatically it creates sort of competition, which is actually an illusion. So yeah, I think in a relationship what's very very important is that you must feel and you must make your significant other feel that they are irreplaceable. And if somebody is trying to be impressive, that's like on a general level, but it is not something that they should feel insecure of. So yeah, and yeah, teenage romances should be in teenage life, and then you forget that, then you grow up and sort of yeah, so don't go back and forth to that thing. So other than that, the illusionist, there are a few points that he makes that like the soul, and different religions talk about the soul and the soulful connection. It is it kind of showed me this, and it kind of gives the impression to a particular gender. For example, the masculine gender, that women want this dramatized and fantasized version of romance, that we women kind of fancy this whole idea of relationship, that we're not practical. We want this dramatization and this magical sort of a thing. This movie kind of showed that that I would say stupidity, that love and relationship is like this magic and stuff, and this fantasy. Okay, it's when you like 13 to not okay, say 16, 17, 18, maybe, probably that bullshit works. Actually, it didn't even work with me in my teens, to be very honest, because I was just so crazy about football and basketball. But anyways, if you are that sort of a person and you are this like cheerleader kind of a person, okay, no offense to cheerleaders, I love cheerleading, is an art also, so all the respect. I mean, at least in the United States of America, you can't perform without the motivation of the cheerleading. No, but no offense. Okay, if you are that sort of a person who believes in these sort of fantasies and dramatizations and magical, sort of things, in when it comes to romance and stuff. It looks good in the teenage life, but that, again, that teenage phase is a teenage phase. It should die down in the teenage life. You don't take that teenage dream into your, you know, adult life, because yeah, adult life is much, it's not an illusion, it's a real life. So yeah, that was something that I noticed. Then the attitude of that person, that duke, or that prince, crown prince, sorry, that person, I mean, the insecurity of that person was just so eminent. And it reminded me of the serpent 8, that, it's how the masculine insecurities come into life, when you put into a lot of pressures, and you're being judged, and you are seen through the shadows of your predecessors. Like in that case, his father was the emperor was sort of overshadowing his identity, and he just wanted to break out of that identity and be who he is. And the eminent thing that you can do is through power and through assertiveness, and you do it on the most weakest of people around you, and that would definitely be the woman around you. So that also, and even a magician, or an imposter, or somebody with a that mentality to trick or to play with your mind, can make you this insecure that you want to either kill him or kill yourself. So this is something, it tells a lot. This movie actually tells a lot about psychology, that how easy it is to frame somebody as an evil person and deceive people. The entire murder was planned, and there was no murder, and somebody was portrayed this evil person, and he didn't even do that. At least he didn't kill that woman that he was accused of. Another thing was very funny, that even in that olden times, that program technology is, and it's just so the hologram technology, and people actually, Hollywood can just, people buy that, that hologram thing. It's, again, this movie also gives this strong message that if people are just so inspired by your charismatic personality, you can sell anything. You can sell any thought, anything, and people will believe you. People with the right mind can believe you. Like this person, Andrew Tate, just says there is this algorithm and this matrix. Matrix is a fictional movie, and he's telling the entire Western masculine, people, that there is this matrix, and it is, trying to. I mean, there is sort of a matrix which is deliberately trying to make sure that certain group of people are poor, and certain group of people are rich, and certain group of people are winning the election, and certain. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, if the matrix was working, let's hypothetically speak that matrix and all this agenda that he is propagating is is working, then look at how it works. There is a black president of the United States of America. That's like a fair election. Joe Biden wins, that's a fair election. Trump wins, that was Russia. And it's Kanye West loses, that's Jewish lobby made sure that he lost in and Joe Biden won. So I mean, this is this is ridiculous. It's, how can Matrix be contradicting itself over and over again? Isn't it has to be consistent in terms of keeping the control, because it cannot flip flop. You have this and then that and then this and then that, and then people who are controlling, apparently white supremacist and Jews are controlling, apparently, as what the blame as it for, I mean, people who blame the Matrix or who propagate it. Either whites are controlling it or the Jews are controlling it. And the Nazis were white and they were killing the Jews, and now they have teamed up, and I mean, it doesn't make sense. And then the serpent and the people, it has to not make sense. And then, so if Michael Jordan and Kanye West and all those NBA players are making billions of dollars, the Matrix is okay. The Saudi kings and Indians are India. By the way, the Matrix is such a amazing. It's favorable to Jews and white supremacists, but Devi Ji, who has an Indian ancestry, becomes a VP, and in the United Kingdom, you have an Indian Prime Minister. They are the one. Indians are taking over Western democracies, and they are not allowing Sonia Gandhi, who the BJP and all the Indian nationalists say that she is an Italian woman, despite the fact that she gave her entire life to her husband and the Rajiv Gandhi and the Gandhi family, and she was a political head, and she has been working tirelessly for her entire life, didn't remarried, despite the fact that she was very 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 young when she was widowed. Her husband was murdered brutally in a bomb attack. So I mean, she gave her entire life, she learned the language, she integrated herself into the religion and the society and everything, contributed her life to public service, to political service of the Congress party, but still she's an outsider and she can't be a PM of India. But then Indian diaspora has, and the moment Sonak become the PM and Devi Ji become the VP, they were all celebrations in Indian hometowns of these, people, that, as if Indians have, kind of taken over the West. And nobody talks about their agenda, that they are, taking over the Western democracies and Western powers, and how they would abuse the rest of the world, or even Pakistanis are happy for Indians becoming ironic. I mean, just imagine if somebody of Jewish ancestry would have become the PM of United Kingdom. How would have the world reacted? Or a vice president would be a Jewish person. Okay, we do have a Jewish first man, or I don't know what it's called. So the first lady, first man. Actually, they're not first lady, second second man or second something. Okay, because she is a VP. Yeah, but so again, I would go back to the review actually. So I mean, the movie in itself says that how people can create illusions through their you know ambitions. um, this person had the ambition to get the girl of his dreams, his teenage sweetheart, and for that he deceives everyone. And in that pursuit, a person kills himself. A law enforcement person is fooled right before his eyes, and he just to get that girl, and he just deceives and he creates this illusion for everyone. I mean, such a passionate pursuit though. But then again, we need to, I mean, this movie actually is a one, it provokes your thought that do we have the right to pursue our passions in such a way that it costs somebody's life, or deceiving someone unnecessarily, or and then it also tells us that should we in our right mind be fooled with the illusions that people create right in front of our eyes and play with our minds, or rather have this conscious mind and this creative mind like that crown prince, that how did he does these tricks, although he fell to his one of more two he also too fell into one of his tricks. But then again, he had this curious mind that how did he able to pull this up. And I think that's very, very important, that we shouldn't make gods out of people. We shouldn't give people this very convenient and easier way to become special. Always be critical of everyone, and always be critical of your own self to have clarity and not be deceived with illusions. And I think this was a very important message that I got from this movie, that we need to constantly look into things and life, that is it our illusion, or is it our real and right way to think through reality. So always double check. Never ever let prejudice and never ever let any one person play with your mind and emotions just because that person seems a certain way. Or sometimes people with a bad reputation might turn out to be a very good, not with Andrew Tate. He's no, I'm kidding. Many people actually love this person and they think that he has a very good reputation. But I think evaluate perspectives rather than people. um, Although I would admit that I'm judgmental towards this person, but looking back to seeing back his life story, coming out from a broken home, you know, who knows, he might feels that or blames his mother for, taking him away from his father, and that's why he misses his father so much, and that's why he wants to empower the masculine, so that they are in control, and they are not they are this much control that they would never let their woman go, so that no other child would have to live without a father figure. So I mean, it you I mean, I can only you know kind of think and say, why and from where does his mentality comes from. But then again, um your perspective is your perspective. Don't make it an illusion or illusionistic reality for everyone to accept. I have a perspective, okay, if you know I have a perspective regarding masculinity and femininity and feminism. I mean, if we see this movie where this woman is being forced by this man to marry him and stay with him and whatever, to have that plan or whatever political advantages he wanted to gain from that relationship. But the point is, modern feminism gives at least women this right that we are able to get out of relationships that we don't want to be involved with. It gives us the power to choose our partners and stuff. So this movie also tells me how important feminism is in some ways. Yeah, every perspective and every ideology has a pro have pros and cons. And yeah, feminism might have some negativity too, but nevertheless it has empowered women to make choices, at least in regards to themselves individually. It has given us a lot of freedom of choice, which we didn't had previously. So we're definitely not selling that away and going back to our husbands and our fathers making decisions for us. So yeah, but I think it's very, this movie actually tells me, and this is the message that I draw out from the entire movie, is that don't fall into the illusions that people create, because most of the time people create those illusions of realities just to benefit themselves, and at times the cost is very, very high. In this case, somebody just killed himself, although that person is a bad person or whatever. But even then, it doesn't give us the right to justify that, okay, because that was not the murder that he did. Nobody died, and he just killed himself out of guilt. He needed therapy. Definitely, he would have been in jail for abusing his previous partners. But nevertheless, this whole illusion was self-centered, and we shouldn't give people this easy way to become gods and become these idols of goodness or idols of evilness. Have our perspective open and be more curious, rather than submit to illusions of perspective and realities that people create in front of our eyes and play with our minds. be critical, be open-minded for different perspectives, and evaluate them through critical lenses. Nice movie. It was a romantic movie, so a bit boring, not my favorite kind of genre for movies. But yeah, it was good, thought-provoking, nice, good recommendation. So this was my review. I hope it was worthwhile. So thank you.